Floating objects. Let's discuss about upthrust. Refer this image. Upthrust is a force that pushes the object upwards when an object submerged in a fluid such as liquids and gases. This is upthrust acting on boat. And this is the weight of boat acting downward. Upthrust always acts in the opposite direction to object's weight. This is why boats and objects that are less dense than water floats. Consider this image. The size of the upthrust depends on the density of the fluids as well as the volume of fluid that is displaced, which is equal to the volume of the object. This means that this volume of liquid displaced is equal to upthrust. Also, denser the liquid, the greater the upthrust it will exert on an object. Factors affecting floating and sinking. Whether an object sinks or floats depends on the upthrust. In this image we can see that if the upthrust on an object is equal to or greater than the object's weight, then the object will float. In this image, if the upthrust is smaller than the weight, then the object will sink. The outcome also depends on the object's density. If object has a density less than the density of the fluid in which it is immersed, then object will float. If object has a density more than the density of the fluid in which it is immersed, then it will sink. The reason is that if the density of the object is greater than the density of the fluid, the object can never displaces the fluid that will hold its weight up and therefore sinks. In this image, we can see that a polystyrene ball floats in water. This is because polystyrene has a density of 0.05 gram per centimeter cube, which is much less than the density of water 1 gram per centimeter cube. In the second image, a wooden block will be partially submerged but will still float. This is because the density of wooden block is 0.9 gram per centimeter cube, that is slightly less than the density of water. In this image, an iron ball will sink in water. This is because iron has a density of 7.9 gram per centimeter cube, that is much higher than water. Floating liquids. In this image, this is least dense liquid, and this is most dense liquid. A liquid with a lower density will float on a liquid with a higher density if the liquids do not mix.